Okay, let's start with this picture. Imagine stepping into God's own country, Kerala. Um, the air is just thick with the scent of spices, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And you've got the coconut palms swaying against the Arabian Sea.
Exactly, that whole silhouette. And the backwaters reflecting all that lush green. It's a full sensory experience.
It really is.
So now picture adding something new to that, like a really crisp golden lager maybe, with that hint of cool Baltic air about it.
Or maybe something zesty, like from an Iberian orchard.
Precisely. And that's the really exciting bit we're diving into today, this possibility of iconic European beers from Estonia and Portugal showing up right here in Kerala.
It's a fascinating development for sure.
Yeah, so our mission here is to kind of unpack this. We'll look at the facts, the figures, what's happening in the market.
And the flavors, of course, what these beers actually bring.
Right. And, most importantly, what it all means for you, whether you're, say, in bustling through Ravanathapuram or chilling by the backwaters in Alappuzha.
We're aiming to give you that shortcut, the bigger picture, without getting totally bogged down in, all the nitty-gritty details.
Okay, so how did this actually kick off? It wasn't some huge, splashy campaign, was it?
No, not at all. It was surprisingly low-key, almost diplomatic. You had officers from the Estonian and Portuguese embassies reaching out directly to Bevco.
Bevco being Kerala's state-owned alcohol distribution authority, the main player.
Exactly. And this wasn't just, hey, how's it going? It was a serious signal, like, we want to bring our country's beer brands into your market.
Interesting. And Bevco's response?
Pretty much what you'd expect from an efficient authority. They basically said, here's the process,
Yeah.
pointed them towards a designated online portal for applications and documents.
Look, quite straightforward then. Welcoming, even.
Yeah, remarkably clear and open for what's usually seen as a pretty regulated market.
So the big question is, why now? I mean, Kerala's familiar with foreign booze, right? FMFL, foreign wines.
Absolutely. Foreign-made foreign liquor and foreign wines, they've been gaining traction. Sales actually climbed to 1.114 lakh cases. That's 114,000 cases by mid-August this year.
That's up from the previous year, isn't it?
It is, yeah, up from about 1.04 lakh cases same time last year. So there's definitely a taste for imports. But foreign beers, they've been the missing piece, sort of.
Until now, maybe?
Looks like it. The really big news is that the excise department has apparently given its okay.
Oh, the green light.
And Bevco's chair, Harshita Ataluri, confirmed it. The finance department is now, actively figuring out the tax structure. That's the crucial next step.
Okay, so the wheels are definitely in motion. And this ties into something else we've seen happening. The change in the Bevco outlets themselves.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge factor. They've been transforming these places, much more user-friendly now, walk-in style, like a supermarket almost.
With display racks and everything. Makes browsing easier.
Exactly. And that modernization has already given a boost to those FMFL and wine sales. People can see what's available, pick things up. It makes the whole experience way more accessible.
So adding European beers onto those shelves now seems like a natural fit.
It really does. And it speaks to Bevco's history, too. Established way back in 1984, fully government-owned.
They're the sole gatekeepers, essentially.
Right. Ensuring quality, generating revenue for the state, which is significant, but also adapting. They have to keep up with what people want to drink. This interest from Europe, it's just the latest chapter in that adaptation.
Okay, let's zoom in a bit on Kerala's own drink scene. For anyone maybe less familiar, what's the basic breakdown?
Well, you've got your IMFL, Indian-made foreign liquor, stuff made here, but in the style of foreign spirits, whiskey, rum, brandy.
Right, and then you have the actual imports we were just talking about.
Exactly. And within that whole mix, beer, well, it's always been seen as the lighter, more refreshing option, especially given Kerala's climate.
Yeah, that warmth and humidity. A cold beer just works, doesn't it?
It really does. It kind of fits the lifestyle.
But the sales figures for beer, they're a bit mixed, aren't they?
They are, yeah. It's interesting. If you look at total sales through Bevco's own outlets, beer sales actually went up this year by mid-August to 18.28 lakh cases from 17.36 lakh last year.
Okay, so people are buying more beer from the shops.
Seems like it. But sales to bars and beer parlors, the ones supplied via the warehouses, those actually dipped, down to 19.95 lakh cases from 22.62 lakh.
Huh. So maybe more people drinking at home or enjoying the variety at those revamped outlets.
Could be a bit of both. It suggests a shift in where people are consuming beer, even though, globally some reports suggest a slight decline in overall beer consumption predicted for the next couple of years.
But locally it seems resilient, maybe just changing form.
Possibly. And it fits with another trend. Keralites are definitely developing more, let's say, sophisticated tastes overall.
You mean beyond beer?
Yeah, we're seeing people drinking slightly more foreign liquor and wine per person. The monthly average went up from about 0.069 liters in 2022-23 to 0.086 liters now. It's not a huge jump, but it shows a move towards maybe premium options.
That makes sense. And this isn't happening in a vacuum, right? India's overall alcohol market is massive.
Oh, it's enormous. We're talking about, roughly $52.5 billion this year, and projected to hit $64 billion by 2028. That kind of growth. International brands just can't ignore it.
So even though IMFL is still king.
It is, yeah, it dominates. But the foreign imports are carving out a growing niche. Rising incomes, changing urban lifestyles, people wanting to try new things. It all feeds into it.
When Kerala has its own specific drivers too. Tourism, for instance. That must play a big part.
Definitely. Kerala gets millions of tourists, right? And many of them, they look for familiar international brands or just want a wider choice.
And the industry itself is pushing for more options.
Yeah, stakeholders in tourism have been pretty vocal about wanting more low-alcohol beverages available. Think beers, lighter wines.
And Bevco's listening?
It seems so. They've apparently made recommendations. The excise department gave that approval we mentioned, and now it's just down to the finance folks sorting the taxes.
What exactly counts as low alcohol in this context?
Generally, we're talking about beers or wines that are around 5% ABV, alcohol by volume, or maybe even less.
The appeal there is.
It's twofold, really. One, you have health-conscious consumers maybe wanting lighter options. Two, it significantly boosts that tourism appeal. Offering variety helps keep Kerala attractive year-round for all sorts of visitors.
Okay, this is fascinating context. Let's pivot now and actually talk about these potential new beers. Starting up north, Estonia. What comes to mind?
Estonia.
Yeah.
Yeah, small Baltic nation, punches above its weight in digital tech, beautiful medieval cities like Tallinn.
Right. But beer, is that a big thing there?
Oh, absolutely. Beer isn't just a drink in Estonia. It's steeped in history, centuries of tradition. They've got this great blend of old school craftsmanship and modern brewing innovation.
So what kind of beers are we talking about? Any big names?
Well, you've got the established players. Saku Original is probably the most famous. It's a crisp golden lager, really popular since, 1820 apparently. Perfect thirst quencher for our kind of weather.
Easy drinking, sounds like.
Exactly. Then there's A. Lecoq, another historic brewery with a wide range. But Estonia also has this really dynamic craft beer scene that's gained international attention.
The craft side, like what?
Think breweries like Pohjala. Since 2011, they've been making some seriously bold stuff. Globally acclaimed stouts, barrel-aged things, super hoppy IPAs.
Okay, so not just lagers.
Definitely not. Imagine something like Pohjala's a ton of honey. It's an imperial stout, pretty strong at 13.2% ABV, but it's infused with local Estonian honey.
Wow, honey in a stout.
Yeah, sounds amazing, right? Sweet, velvety. I could actually see that pairing surprisingly well with some spicy Kerala seafood, maybe.
Interesting. A sweet counterpoint. Any others?
Yeah, there are others pushing boundaries too. Puhes Brewery, Leh, smaller ones like Elanot and Tanker. It's a lively scene.
So why Kerala? For these Estonian brews, they already export quite a bit, don't they?
They do, yeah, to over 40 countries. But India, with its massive growing market, that's still largely untapped potential for them. And Kerala specifically, with a relatively young population, lots of tourists. It seems like a good place to find adventurous drinkers.
Makes sense. You mentioned their brewing uses local stuff sometimes.
Right. That's a cool aspect. Estonian beer culture is tied to their forests, their saunas, sometimes using local herbs, even birch sap.
Birch sap beer.
Apparently. So bringing that kind of sensibility here, it's like mixing Nordic cool with our tropical heat.
Yeah.
A real cultural fusion in a bottle.
Okay, from the Baltics, let's head south. Portugal. What's the beer scene like there? We mostly think of port wine, maybe?
We do, yeah. But beer definitely holds its own. Think sunshine, Atlantic coast. Portuguese beers often reflect that. Generally light, crisp, perfect for sipping by the beach.
That sounds like it would fit right into the Kerala vibe.
Totally. It resonates well with our coastal culture.
So who are the big players in Portugal?
Two main rivals dominate, really. First, Bock. Established 1927, it's a golden lager, around 5.8% ABV, known for being smooth, refreshing, a little bit dry. It's kind of the default sunny day beer there.
Okay, Bock And the rival.
Sagres, named after that famous southwestern point of Portugal. It's been around since 1940, a classic balanced Pilsner.
So Superbock and Sagres.
Yeah, between them and maybe Coral from Madeira, they pretty much own the Portuguese market, like over 80% share.
Wow. But is there a craft scene emerging there too, like in Estonia?
There is, yeah. It's maybe not as established as Estonia's, but it's definitely growing. You've got breweries like Do Corvos in Lisbon doing interesting IPAs and sours. Musa Brewery gets good reviews, too.
Even the big guys getting involved.
Yeah, even Superbock has a craftier line, their Selects in 1927 series. They do things like a Bavarian Weiss, a wheat beer, adding more variety. So the market is definitely evolving.
And Portugal exports a lot of beer already.
They produce a huge amount, yeah, around 700 million liters a year, and export quite a bit. And their historical connection to India, through Goa, that could create some resonance here in Kerala, too.
That shared history, the spice trade links, it's an interesting angle.
Absolutely. And again, looking at India's market growth, that projection of 7.2% annual growth, reaching $200 billion by 2025, it's just too big an opportunity to ignore for brands like Superbock and Sagres.
You mentioned pairing Estonian stout with seafood. What about Portuguese beer? What would go well with our food?
Oh, easily. Imagine a crisp Superbock or Sagres with something like Kerala fish moili, that delicate coconut curry. The clean maltiness of the beer would just cut through the richness beautifully.
Okay, my mouth is watering now. So stepping back again, let's look at the bigger picture, the why. This isn't just random, right? Estonia and Portugal targeting Kerala.
No, it's definitely strategic. They see India's booming market for foreign liquor. It's being driven by this massive growing middle class, maybe 300 million people who have more disposable income and want premium international stuff.
And why Kerala specifically within India?
Well, Kerala has its own unique advantages. High literacy rates, significant income from Keralites working abroad. This leads to a consumer base that's quite discerning, often exposed to global trends.
Plus the tourism factor we already discussed.
Exactly. Over 10 million visitors a year creates a built-in demand for international brands. People want what they know, or they want to try something new and foreign while on holiday.
Globally, this fits into a larger pattern of beer trade, doesn't it?
It does. Europe exports billions worth of beer. Prices vary massively. Of course, you might pay 2 for a pint in Sofia, but €8 in Copenhagen. It shows the different market segments.
So Estonia's craft beers might target a niche.
Right, maybe a more premium exploratory niche. While Portugal's big lagers, like Superbock, they're likely aiming for a broader volume and appeal. Kerala can probably support both.
What are the potential benefits for Kerala itself from all this?
Well, beyond just having more beer choices, which is nice for consumers, you could see new jobs created in distribution, marketing, maybe retail.
And tax revenue, presumably.
Oh, absolutely. That's a big one. The state already makes a huge amount from alcohol sales. You mentioned the figures. 14,821 crore from 19,561 crore in sales recently. New brands entering will only add to that pot, which funds public services.
But it can't be all smooth sailing, surely. What are the potential bumps in the road?
Definitely challenges. High taxes are always a factor in India's alcohol market. Bureaucracy can sometimes slow things down. And then there's the competition.
You mean from established local brand?
Exactly. Brands like Kingfisher are deeply entrenched. They have huge brand loyalty and distribution networks. New entrants will have to work hard to carve out space.
So let's bring it down to the individual level.
Yeah.
For the average person in Kerala, what does this actually mean for their next trip to the Bevco shop?
Fundamentally, it means more choice, a wider variety on the shelves, and potentially, depending on how those taxes shake out, maybe more accessible prices for imported options eventually. Just more things to explore, really.
And does the health angle play in here? We mentioned low alcohol options.
It could, yeah. We know alcohol consumption is significant in Kerala, about 3.29 million people out of 3.34 crore population. But national trends hint at maybe a slight dip in overall beer drinking. Introducing more varied options, including those lower alcohol ones, it could encourage more responsible choices for some people.
Offering alternatives, basically.
Right. And beyond just the drinks, this could foster wider connections, couldn't it?
How so?
Well, think about it. Estonia is a tech powerhouse. Portugal has huge expertise in tourism. Building these trade links in beverages might open doors for collaboration in other sectors too. Deeper economic ties.
It's a really interesting thought. Spillover effects.
And maybe even inspiration for our own local brewers.
Like a bit of healthy competition sparking creativity.
Exactly. Could you imagine? Local breweries may be experimenting more, perhaps infusing beers with unique Kerala spices, cardamom, ginger, black pepper, creating totally new flavor profiles that blend global styles with local tastes.
That would be incredible. A Kerala Pale Ale, perhaps.
Why not? The possibilities are exciting.
It really puts Kerala's situation into the broader Indian context, doesn't it? India's alcohol scene is just so varied.
It really is. You've got everything from traditional local brews or spirits, Emel, made Indian liquor in rural areas, right up to high-end single malt scotch in the big city bars.
And the government seems more open to imports generally, like reducing duties on bourbon recently.
Yeah, that's a signal, and increasing openness, at least in some categories. But India is also complicated, right? The market is fragmented. Each state has its own rules, its own tax structure.
Which makes it tricky for national brands, let alone international ones.
Definitely. Kerala's model, with Bevco having that monopoly, it provides control, which the state values, but it also inherently limits open market competition compared to some other places.
Yet, despite that, sales keep growing. Up 6% recently, you said.
Yeah, the demand is clearly there. The market is dynamic, even within that structure.
Okay, maybe we can wrap up with a couple of fun facts or myths about beer. Any good ones?
Well, did you know beer was probably invented by accident, like maybe 7,000 years ago? Someone left some grain out, it got wet, fermented, voila.
Accidental deliciousness. What about the dreaded beer belly? Is that real?
Well, yes and no. It's not magic to beer itself. It's just about calories. Beer has calories, often quite a few, and consuming excess calories leads to weight gain, often around the midsection. So it's about overall intake, not some specific beer property.
Good to know. Moderation is key, as always. And those food pairings, Estonian stout with a Pam and stew, Portuguese lager with a sadja.
Why not? Exploring those combinations could be half the fun.
Absolutely. So bringing this all together as we close out this deep dive, it feels like a really exciting moment for Kerala's beverage scene.
It really does. The prospect of these European brews from the cool Baltics and sunny Portugal finding their way onto shelves here, it's a fantastic blend of cultures and flavors potentially coming our way.
It's more than just new drinks appearing. It feels like a marker of broader changes, maybe.
I think so. As the finance department finalizes those tax details, officially opening the door, it prompts bigger questions, doesn't it?
Like what?
Well, think beyond just beer. How might this cultural exchange evolve further? What other fusions could we see? Nordic design meets Kerala crafts. Iberian music finds echoes here.
And how does a changing palate, a desire for these new tastes, reflect shifts in society itself?
Exactly. What stories will these new bottles tell when they sit alongside our familiar brands on those shelves? It's something fascinating to think about.
Definitely food, or maybe drink, for thought. It seems the next chapter for drinks in Kerala is about to be poured.
Stay tuned indeed. Your next pint might just offer a taste of a whole different continent.